Good morning. Welcome to the Intentional Shift. I want to welcome my guest, Lawana Gelzer, who's running for the Orlando City Commissioner, District 5. Thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you and good morning to all. And it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Well, we're getting down to countdown, and I wanted to introduce to some and to others, reintroduce you as you run for this position. So, Lawana, I want to ask you, just who are you? Tell us about you.
Lawana Gelzer is a person who was brought up in the Paramore community when my family moved here in 1971. I'm actually a native Floridian. Lawana is about civic engagement and community service. Um, Educational wise, attended public schools, went to Edgewater High School, and I always say this, go Eagles. Went off for 1 year to Emmanuel University, and then returned back to Rollins College in Winter Park, and I pursued an economics and mathematics degree, played a little basketball, and even was an All-American and inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That's kind of amazing seeing you now that you were an All-American or that you were an athlete. Unbelievable. I guess you can do all kinds of things. It's,
Yes,
it's,
we
it's,
can.
it's been a few years. It's been a few years.
Wait a minute. Can still dribble that ball. Can
I'm
still
gonna have
dribble
to
that ball.
I'm
I
gonna
can
have to
still
see you run
go
up
on
and
the
down
court.
that court.
Okay. All
Maybe that
right.
explains your perseverance because you had to persevere and really get in shape to do that.
Yes.
Well, tell us today, why are you running for city commissioner? And some may say again. Tell me, tell the
A
audience.
call to duty, a call to action, a call to service, bringing something needed to the community, helping out. That's who Lawana Gelzer is. I see a need. I see that I can serve and represent the community with integrity and great leadership and partnerships. And that's why Lawana Gelzer is running again for City Commissioner District 5.
Would you liken yourself in, let's say, an analogy with Abraham Lincoln?
Actually, I can because I think he ran 12 times and Luana's probably at 12 times running too. So
And
absolutely. Yes, I can.
he did become president.
Yes, he did. And I want to be the next city commissioner for District 5 of Orlando. So I'm not president, but oh, that's not a bad thing to think about one day.
So here we are. We want to know, what would you bring to the table of the District 5? What do you stand for? How would you serve the community?
I will continue the platform that I was brought up on about community service. I bring integrity, great leadership, but the most important thing I bring to the table is the ability to work with others on a state, local, and federal level, and to bring additional resources to our district, well needed resources to make it better and enhance the programs. So that's what I'm bringing to the table, but I also just bring my love and passion for my community.
Just give me some specific ways you would serve District 5.
Well, I would definitely emphasize on the partnerships that I've had in the past when I speak about bringing funding. I still have a relationship with the Environmental Protection Agency. I currently am in the middle of a air quality monitoring grant, and I'm bragging, but I'm happy and it's positive because we were one of the only community-based organizations in the entire country to receive this grant. And so I'm proud of our team and our accomplishment. One thing I can say is when I saw a need with my group, we stepped up and helped our seniors maintain and live in their homes by providing them just the basic necessity, new appliances, and that was $3.5 million of supplies that went to people living in Orange County, especially in Orlando. During the pandemic, I was on the front line. I was responsible for 10 counties, and I brought over $2.3 million and vaccinated almost 9,000 people, shots in the arm. reached over 500,000 people with our partnerships. And it wasn't Lawana doing it, it wasn't the coalition, it wasn't the community empowerment. It was a team effort of multiple organizations that was in that partnership to get that job done.
All right, so you did work with several other organizations successfully.
Oh, absolutely. It's still working with them. Orange County government currently is our number one sponsor as far as allowing us to co-locate our monitors at the Winter Park Station. I've worked with City of Orlando organizations throughout Central Florida. That's about partnership. That's working. Because if you cannot do it by yourself. You have to be able to work with people. As they say in the political aisle, I can work across the aisle. I can work with anybody because it's about serving and bringing a need and filling a need to the community.
Well, wonderful. Let's look at District 5. Can you talk to us about the specific issues affecting District 5 residents? It's become very
Uh,
diverse.
yes, District 5 is a very unique and dynamic district. It encompasses literally all of downtown except for Lake Eola. And it reaches all the way out to Hiawassee, Metro West, part of Metro West, Mercy Drive, and the urban community like Rock Lake, Spring Lake, Clear Lake Cove, Lake Man Estates, Ivy Lane, Malibu, and New Malibu. So it's a very unique district in that a lot of the sports venues, I think mostly all of them, actually are in District 5 in the Paramore community. And so we have a unique situation there. We generate quite a few dollars because people come to Camping World Stadium. The Magic currently play at the IKEA Center. We have the soccer stadium. So you see a lot that goes on in District 5. And don't forget all of downtown.
And so with that, what personal knowledge do you have about the needs of District 5?
Because of the unique facet of the district, we have some great things that are happening, but we have some things that we are on the front line with dealing with, unfortunately, the houseless population. We are dealing with affordable housing, attainable housing issues. I know they talk about it throughout the country, but it's concentrated in District 5 a lot, some of these problems and some of the solutions that we're working towards making it better. We are looking at, I don't deal with education, but I definitely partner with mentor programs, and I've done that in the past. And I think we have a lot of organizations that's doing a lot of things in the community. I just think that we need to have a group that look at it and come up with better solutions and how we can work together even better to make things better in the district.
When you talk about houselessness, what are your ideas to solve that issue? I know it's chronic, but do you have any ideas?
By housing,
Yes,
uh,
for homelessness.
homelessness. Well, I'm trying to be. Paramore is only 1.4 square miles, and yet we contain six homeless shelters in our 1.4 square miles. So concentrating it in one community and low bearing type shelters is not the best thing for any community anywhere. I believe we can have special needs shelters. I think we've dealt with this problem quite some time, and that unfortunately, a lot of the other cities and counties bring their homeless, unfortunately, to the Paramount community. So we're oversaturated with people who are houseless. And we're just we want to make sure that the programs and the funding that is going there is meeting the needs of the community, but the people who are most need. And I have to say this, right now, the individuals or the group that is at a 25% increase is our seniors. They are being moved out. They can't afford to stay where they're at. And that's the largest growing population now of the homeless.
How has this issue of the homeless, houseless affected those who are actual residents of that area?
I currently actually live within a half a mile of four shelters. It's hard. It's very hard to deal with because I see people who want to do better. Their circumstances is that they're between jobs or they couldn't afford to stay where they were living. So I'm not going to demonize them. But what I would like to say is that the programs that have been put in place, I think we can do a better job in helping them. I feel like we just don't house them during the day or in at night and don't provide them with other avenues. I feel like if you could put the money towards permanent housing, unique housing like tiny homes, or taking and renovating some of the hotels that we have in our district, I think we could do a better job with the funding that's come and serve our community more. But when I come to how homelessness, I have to bring in why some people become homeless. It's not always because they lost their jobs. It's because of the rent increases where they're living at and it's no longer affordable. So I think it goes hand in hand when you talk about affordable housing, which I say attainable housing, because what's affordable for me might not be affordable for someone else. So we have to make sure when we're giving out funding to build new affordable housing, attainable housing, that we make sure we hold those developers that the rent is will stay like that for 5 to 10 years. We need to review and make sure and hold them accountable that there's no rent increase. A lot of times there's rent increases because they can increase the rent. So I believe that we don't give the money always up front to build the units that based on your delivery, then you get your funding. And that's one thing I really want to emphasize because I have Paramount Oaks had 79 evictions, and it wasn't because they were doing something wrong. It's just the rent increased almost 300 to 400% within a year and a half.
Now, Paramount Oaks, is that an apartment area?
It's an apartment complex right on Paramore, just before Gore in District 5. And proud and joy, beautiful location, beautiful building. But most of the people cannot, especially our seniors, afford the rent increase over the year and a half.
300%.
300%. Yes, 79 evictions as we speak, as right now.
Well, next, let's talk about public safety and community trust. What would you say to that for District 5, all of District 5?
All of District 5, public safety is something Lawana will always believe in relationship with our police department, even our fire department. I mean, out of our $1.8 billion budget that was just passed on October 1st, about 60% goes to those two entities. Trust comes both ways. It's being able to call, because they say people call when they need you, but it's also who you bring to the community. I've seen a lot of things done, and we can make improvements, but I think ultimately trust is because I call you, and when you come, I expect the same type of services that anybody else would want to have. And I think that's just come from communication and working with each other and sitting down and having conversations. But believe it or not, Lawana works with the police department regularly, and she has conversations and things that I feel like from the perspective of community, how we can do better. And I've served on several boards as far as looking at the a task force, I should say, looking at how we can improve police relationships and how we can serve each other better.
Can you tell
Yeah.
us which task force you have served?
Oh, well, the City of Orlando Spirit, he ain't the money person. The water gonna talk about that money. About 2 years ago, during the George Floyd movement, the city of Orlando brought in a Bowman group and spent over $900,000. And that was over a 6 month period to go and look at and evaluate the use of force measures, look at how we can make programs better, mentor programs, what we could do to be a team and work together. And I served on that committee. And I brought ideas. Lawana, going to be honest, when you're spending that kind of money, I wanted us to review our use of force metrics to make sure we align with the rest of the country. Um, and then I one of the things I love that they do, they have quarterly meetings where they invite the community and from all the districts, and we sit and talk with our chief of police and all the officers that are patrolling or serving within that district. Tell us what they do, and the community comes with their concerns. Then come with, oh, you did a good job. You called. You showed up. I appreciate it. That change of dialogue is important to build trust.
And you were a part of that.
Oh, absolutely. And I go to every meeting they have, regardless if it's District 5 or not, because I need to hear what the other districts are saying. Because believe it or not, as the next commissioner for District 5, I'll be voting on everything throughout the city of Orlando. So I need to be able to hear and see and work with people throughout the district on what their concerns are when it comes to public safety, because they might have better ideas than we have in District 5. So you have to go and talk to, and learn from others.
Let's talk about some of the other areas of District 5 you mentioned. How would you serve them for those that are not as directly impacted by houselessness, but they have other issues that concern them? Will you describe how you would serve the rest of District 5 away from Paramore?
Oh, absolutely. Because we have some beautiful, beautiful communities in District 5, and people are homeowners. And so they're concerned about their infrastructure and making sure their tax dollars are being used to the best for their district. So definitely communicating with them. But I'm going to be honest with you, when I'm at those meetings, public safety comes up we show up. Infrastructure is important, and just knowing what's going on in our community. I mean, we just recently had the governor send some people in, so we want to just make sure that the programs and the money that we're spending out of their tax dollars is benefiting the district and meeting the needs. And I will continue to go to neighborhood association meetings and work with others that are not a part, because I don't know all the answers, but I'm willing to listen and help find a solution to make it better.
Great. You said you're about the money. It's not because you want to get any money. It's because of your training in economics. Is that correct?
Absolutely,
I just
because
want to make sure that's clear that you.
Lawana is all about economics. So the phrase that economics is trickle down, that is not true. Wherever the money lands is where the money stays. So we need it to be at the grassroots level where it meet and serve the most of our community within our district.
Let's talk about infrastructure and growth and equity. What are your thoughts on that, and what is your position?
Well, I have to be honest with you and talk about, when we talk about infrastructure, we have to bring up zoning and mixed use zoning. It's a lot of mixed use zoning in District 5, meaning you have residential right beside industrial buildings. And when you talk about infrastructure, if there's mixed zoning, and there's a lot of it in District 5, warehouses with semi trucks can actually drive through a neighborhood because it's the rules. They can't. I see it daily where I live at in Paramore. And because of the weight of semi trucks coming through the residential community, the infrastructure is suffering at a disproportionate rate to other communities that don't have to deal with that. So
But wait a minute,
building a
before you go
relationship.
on, what infrastructure specifically are you talking about for our audience?
Okay, infrastructure as far as the sidewalks, streets and drainage, the repavement of our roads. That is the infrastructure in what I'm talking about.
And what about the other areas outside of Paramore? How
I'm just not talking about Paramount. I'm talking about District 5 with the mixed use of zoning. That happened over many, many years ago. And now we can see the effects of it right now. So in certain communities, they don't have to deal with this. But if you have ever driven District 5, it's it's everywhere throughout the district. It's not just concentrated in Paramore. I want people to understand it's not concentrated in Paramore. We don't have really a main street. We have Orange Blossom Trail that runs through our community. And just say, when you have these things in the community, bustle up or next to residential, you just have to have great relationship because I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe the businesses need to be there, but I also need to understand a lot of times the history is in communities that were predominantly were African American in the past, that was what was allowed in the zoning was allowed. So we're dealing with that now, but we can still fix the problem and have good relationships to make it better. So one of the warehouses that is on Washington Street, I literally asked, can you drive down Washington Street instead of through the community? That's building a relationship. And the owner said they had no idea kids were playing there and da 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 da. And so they agreed. It wasn't something hard to do. It was building that relationship and letting everybody know we have to deal with this because they're there. We're not asking them to move, but how can we make it better for us all? It was a conversation.
Perfect. Glad to know that you're in the conversations. Can you describe to me, if you would know, the Orlando Vision 2050 growth framework?
I do know about it. It's changing. Um, for the district itself, it's still talking about infrastructure, looking at the zoning, but the plan is are we going to talk about environmental stuff? Are you going to break it down? You want me to break it down with the
Yes, I
plan?
do. I
Is
want the audience to know who you are, where you stand on the various issues. So let's talk about it and break it down for understanding.
okay, from a planning standpoint, of course, because I'm all about my environment, we're supposed to be able to be almost downtown self-sufficient, da da da. I've heard it. Um, I read the plan. We need to make some updates on that. I believe that anytime any new building is going up, it should be a platinum or gold LEED type building, meaning it's built to be sustainable. That is something that is important. That's why I believe in tiny homes. I believe in solar panel windows. I believe in a whole lot of things to reduce the emission that we're doing to our Mother Earth. When it comes to transportation and the expansion of roads, I don't believe we should always just expand roads. We should use our existing footprint and use ideas as far as transportation because we are an urban community or considered an urban district. Traffic does not travel north through south in District 5. It's east to west. And so we don't have major thoroughfares that do that other than the East West Expressway or what they call the 408 or Colonial Drive. And I believe that we should do with something like Miami and Atlanta has done. Actually have a train system or a trolley system on the existing footprint. I believe also we're going to talk about transportation. About 40% of the people that reside in District 5 and District 6, but in counties, District 6 also use public transportation. So I would love to see more electrical buses. Oh, I don't think we have not one electrical bus driving through any of our communities. To reduce the emission from the gas, I believe if we can look at the programs that are working in other parts of the district and other parts of, I should say, the other parts of the county and city and bring that to our district. So our school buses that pick our children up should be electrical. We can do this. So in the plan, it talks about reducing and making the city more sustainable. It's looking at how we can not harm Mother Earth and it's preparing for that. So No more removing of our trees with our wetlands out on Mercy Drive, the headwaters to recover of springs. We have to be more vigilant to make sure that we are working and bringing great ideas, smart growth, and sustainable growth to the district and the city of Orlando. That's what the plan is talking about. And that's what I want to hold the plan to, because 2050 is 20 about 15 years from now. I'll give a little bit, 20 years from now. But the point is, no, that's my math, 25 years. The point is, we're going to update it and I just think that we look at what we've learned from in the past and be willing to make changes. Because you can't predict what's going to happen in 2050. It's just an idea, it's an outline. So review it yearly, review it every 5 years, and make adjustments.
Perfect. So you're saying that the plan would evolve.
It has to evolve. We as a people are evolving. Things that are happening to us, we're not flooding. If things are happening, you have to be willing to make changes and understand it's a plan, it's an idea, it's a projection of what you want to do. It's not in stone. We cannot change it. That's not public policy, and that's not listening to the community, and that's not learning from what we can do better. You have to be willing to make changes and adjust what is going on, because what someone said 15 years ago might not be the case today. And I'll bring this up. This is the greatest thing I could ever imagine. Do you not know that in sky rises up north in other countries, the panels, the windows itself are solar panels? That technology is changing and growing every year. So we have to be willing to adjust. If we're talking about being a green and a sustainable city, we've got to be willing to make those changes.
You know, many of the things you've talked about are areas of concern and supported by Mayor Buddy Dyer, who has a remaining term of about 2 years. How would you work with him and how would you support the initiatives and plans that he has as he gets ready to exit that are in place but not completed?
The plans is, are we talking about the future plans of the city or
Yeah.
current plan? I'm
Well, let's talk about the current plans that are not complete that he has been involved with. Tell me, how would you help the mayor effectuate these plans as he comes to the end of his term?
Well, I know he's always talked about affordable housing. That's important to him and understanding. I think the only thing is I am all for that. I believe looking at the trends and what is going on, it's very expensive to live in the city of Orlando. Our medium income is not adding up when people are having to pay 50, almost 60% of their income to have a place to stay. But the one thing I would say is just accountability. Let's hold all of our developers at the level when they said they're going to deliver these services, we review them. So I'm for affordable housing, attainable housing. I have no problem with it. I've sat and saw some beautiful programs, and I think they have worked magnificently. And I don't have any complaints about it.
So you are
Getting
there to help effectuate that plan. There are other plans that are on the table for our dear governor, not governor, right, Mayor Dyer, and just want to find out what your position was in supporting him. But in the interim, let's go on and say you have to also work with the Orange County commissioners. Tell me about how would you do that?
I have great relationships with them. I've worked with them on projects in the past. Some of us go back 30 years with our relationship and friendship. I've met with I almost called it in. I've worked with Mayor Dimmons on many things. His staff and I have worked together on projects. I, I don't know how to let people know if you don't see Lawana. That doesn't mean Lawana's not in the background. Lawana don't have to be in the front. Lawana brings solutions and ideas. And sometimes it's just sitting in a room and listening and making some suggestions or listening because don't know all the answers. But I have worked with Myra Uribe, Mike Scott. I have worked with them because you have to. The city of Orlando is in Orange County. And a lot of the funding for the projects like the Camping World Stadium and Prime is up the tourist tax dollars, that comes from Orange County government. So you have to have good relationships and be able to work and talk with people. That's important.
Part of the priorities of Mayor Dyer has been sustainability and resiliency, partnering with residents and business owners to protecting natural resources for better quality of life. What's your opinion about that, and how do you support that?
I'm all about that environment. I, in honor of my late mother, we have the only Resilient Hub Learning Center in not just the city of Orlando, but Orange County, where we do hurricane preparation, AI training. We do distribution of thousands of hurricane kits. I'm for that because I sit as also the chairperson of the Florida Resilient Alliance, and that's a statewide organization. And over the last 3 years, we put $2.5 million throughout the state to build disaster and resilience. So we don't just talk about it. We try to find the money and put the money behind it to make it happen. Extreme heat, something I've talked about. It's no secret. We're going to get hotter and hotter. So if you're talking about resilience, you have to talk about extreme heat. Cooling stations, finding and educating people why we need cooling stations, putting the information out that, believe it or not, fire stations serve as cooling stations. I'm going to give props to my team, my friends in Tangelo Park. When we did a presentation, they went and had a conversation with one of the organizations there, and they have a permanent cooling station for their seniors and anybody in Tangelo Park. But anybody can use it. Looking at links, when we're at that crucial time, if somebody is suffering, let them on a bus to cool off. They might can't make it to a fire station. So I'm all about building resilience because I'm doing it. And I'm on the front line with that. That's another reason why I'm with the One Florida Coalition and the Florida Resilience Alliance. We're actually putting a statewide plan for evacuation, how we bring food up, what roles do we take. We're working with FAMU Environmental Division. We're working with the University of South Florida. We have divided the state up into 5 regions, and we're utilizing the water management district, how the water flow in Florida, to see what we can do. So it's not about what one person can do, but if we're hit, who do I call in Pinellas County? I call Erica Hall. What trucks do we need to bring out of Miami with Smile Trust? Who do we call in Pensacola? We call our friends, but we are on the ground doing resilience, not when a hurricane comes, but year round. And so I'm all for sharing it and have shared that with the city and the county because they call me sometimes and wonder, did you get your truck in? Do we need to block the road off when the semi trucks come in so we can do distribution when there's a storm? Do we bring it up early? Can we store it for you? That is happening now and has happened.
Wonderful. Let's talk
Thank
about
you.
let's talk about doing business in Orlando, which is also a priority. How would you assist to support this effort?
As a business owner, we're going to say over 45 years, I was with my mom. I was a solid partner for many years in my mom's child care facility. I do have 2 consulting services that I provide a lot of financial advice, grant writing skill set, how you do stuff. Business important. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. That is the foundation of our economy. businesses, small businesses. That has ran our economy for many, many years. And so I believe in sometimes we do have to help them out. And we have to make sure programs like with the CRA, if they need infrastructure or facade or mini grant, that they know those programs are out there. So sharing information is ultimately the most important thing. As the next city commissioner, it's my job and my honor to make sure I'm not an information hoarder and that I'm sharing how to make the district better. So when they do better, we all do better. So when our businesses are able to hire and strive in our community, that's a plus. There's more property taxes, there's more revenue, there are more people at work. It works all around. But I'm going to put the money on the ground, and now hopefully it don't trickle down, but it go directly to the business owners itself. So and finding other areas like people, we have the University of Central Florida and Valencia downtown campus. That relationship, building that and expanding on that. It's not always new ideas. It's just making sure people know these programs exist to make it better.
I think that's very important. That in a lot of instances, there are programs, there are tools that don't necessarily need to be replaced, but need to be improved upon.
Absolutely.
And
I must
so,
agree with that. Mhm.
and so I agree with that. We see that in the entrepreneurial world, where you can have McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Popeye, it's all in the same area, but there is a uniqueness about each and each one, and then you have five brothers or whoever it is an improvement on an existing product. And I think that's wonderful. As it relates to our transportation, our links, Sunrail, and Brightline, what are your thoughts about that? I think it's absolutely amazing. But talk about that for our audience.
Well, like I said, about transportation, Sunrail travels north to south or south to north, meaning it's not in the district itself, but it does not travel in the pattern in which most of the people who live and reside in District 5 need. They need to get from Mercy Drive out back downtown. That's east to west or west to east. They need to be able to get to places in and not be on the bus for 2.5 hours. That is something we must improve. I'm so grateful that Orange County put a new terminal um, where you can get transfers and not have to come completely downtown in Pine Hills on Hiawassee. We also have one in Washington Shores. That's been there for many, many years. And the Bright Line actually is on the footprint of the is right there on existing railroad tracks. We didn't have to do anything. We just made it better to travel from like the coast um, Cape Canaveral all the way up to past the airport to International Drive. That is one of the best things we could have ever done. But we still need something to travel east to west in the urban community, urban core, um, to make it a lot easier for people to get to and from to work and to have fun.
Wonderful. So my last question would be, how could you help make the beautiful Orlando be a city for everyone? What are your ideas?
It's simple to enhance what's already been done, make it better, hold everybody accountable, and don't be afraid to say we can do a better job. And to sit down and listen and learn how to implement what the district and the people are saying their needs are. That's what a true leader and a great listener is all about. You acknowledge you don't have every answer, but you acknowledge that you're willing to listen and work and make it better. And the one thing I will always say is enhancing program is not always bringing money, But that's one thing Lawana is able to do and find money and get philanthropy groups to participate and help us out. We're working on our government right now. We have, some issues, but we have been able to work through that and find philanthropy groups that's willing to help. But ultimately, share, 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 share information.
And let's
That's
clarify,
what
you
make
said
us.
our government, you're having some challenges with government. Are you referring to federal government opportunities?
Yes, currently right now, our federal government is in a shutdown. Some people still have to go to work. There has been a pullback on a lot of the funding that might have been environmental justice related or infrastructure related. A lot of people are waiting for their funds. Everybody, a lot of grants were pulled back. For me, a couple of mine, actually three of mine were pulled back and not funded. Um, Adjustment was very hard this year. Layoffs were unfortunately had to come. Um, we
But you made
currently
the
having to deal with, I'm sorry,
but you made the adjustment in light of what existed.
absolute, absolute. We had to make the adjustment.
So
We
just
did.
ask you a question as an entrepreneur. Do you think that gives you a better or different insight as to how to do business
Yes,
that benefits all?
yes. Sometimes you're looking at what's happening. That's why I'm so involved in local government because 80% of what affects us is locally. And so you're looking at the trends and you have to be able to not be, hey, read the crystal ball, but look at what's going on around you and be able to make the adjustment. And sometimes you have to make hard calls, and sometimes just sharing with people, you are able to find other resources for individuals. Don't hold the information and don't think you have the only answer. As a business owner, that's what I've learned over the years. Yes, I've employed hundreds of people over the years. I don't go around telling everybody what I'm doing because that's not the way I was brought up. And I won't be apologetic about it. People who know me and know what my family has done over the years know who we are. And so when I say I'm about civic engagement and service, that came from my upbringing, watching my uncles who were all farmers in Georgia. And when everybody talk about that massive lawsuit that Attorney Greg Francis won, my uncles were a part of that. My parents taught me what hard work was. My dad one year took us to South Carolina, and this is what I had to do: pick cotton. And he made us pick cotton. So being a business owner and understanding the shoulders of those who were successful business owners, despite how hard it was, has allowed me to learn and adjust and not be afraid to say, I need help. What else can we do? And to reach out to others. That's what a true leader and a business owner is. It's not always about what I did. It's about what we can do together. Team building make a great business.
I
And
got
being
one
willing to
last
work.
question, and this would
Mhm.
be as to how do some of these programs impact developers and those with large businesses, and they are concerned about their bottom dollar. For those that businesses, large businesses, multi-million dollar partnerships, how
Mhm.
will you be able to work with them, understanding as an entrepreneur their interests and also understanding the interests of your community? How will you be able to rectify that where possible? Please give us those ideas.
Well, I don't know if it's a problem or not, but even if you're a nonprofit or for profit, if you don't show a profit, you will go out of business. So it's ultimately that we find resources and we have communication among ourselves. Because you're big business does not mean ultimately you have to look the other way. Your bottom line based on how you treat the community, who purchase from you, how you do business. Because people will not do business with you if they do not like how they're being treated or anything like that. So relationships It's the ultimate thing for any business to have good relationships. So I've done that. I've worked with multi-million dollar companies. Today I am. And so it's about communication, sharing, being honest, and being held accountable. That's what business is all about. I commend anybody who have a business, and I'll say to you and others, to be in business over 40 years and still be there through knocks, hard, that's an accomplishment. You learn from it and you move forward. And sometimes you have ups and downs, but the most important thing I'm gonna bring up with basketball, since you don't forgot that I did play basketball and still could dribble,
I
the
did. I
ball
did.
go up. Yeah, and the ball goes up and down. You got to be willing to make adjustments and learn. And relationships, building good relationship. And what you asked about police relations, trust. That's it. That's my upbringing. That's who Lawana Gelzer is trust, learning, omitting, and making one better.
And that's what you would have to be in dealing with the other commissioners in their districts, is building relationships and trust. Well, I want
And guess
to,
what? I got all my commissioners on speed dial. Talk to them. I don't I don't do that because it takes 4 votes to pass something. This is a mayor-driven ordinance type of city. Is so you got to have vote for votes. So when I say I know how to reach and walk across the aisle, I can. You have to. You'll be sitting up there. I'm mad. I don't want to get this done. No, that's not building relationship. That's not building policy. That's not delivering. You have to be able to work across the aisle. You have to. That's the whole part of government. Acknowledging that.
all right,
We
as we
got to
sum up,
shut down.
as we move forward and
Uh-huh.
bring this to an end, you're saying Lawana has delivered and Lawana will deliver. Is that true?
Correct. Mhm.
So, what would be your final remarks as we bring this interview to a conclusion, Ms. Gelson?
Okay. I asked all the voters in District 5 to do their research. And you will see great leadership from Lawana Gelzer, a willingness to serve, integrity, and that she, most important, said representation matters because you need to be at that table with her and she will listen because I do not have all the ideas, but I'm willing to work and listen to make it better. Not an information hoarder. You probably get tired of all the stuff I'm sharing with you, but it's time to let Gelsa show you she can serve and she's willing to serve because she's never stopped working in the community because of her upbringing and who she is. I said I'm all about civic engagement. 80% of what happens in our household is local government. Lawana is about getting the work done with you. And what it's not a new saying, but my dad used to say it all the time, and it didn't resonate at first as a child and even as a young adult. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Lawana says she don't want us to be on the menu. We at the table. Let's get this work done. Let's go to work and let's make a better district in the city of Orlando for us all.
All right. Well, I certainly thank you. Thank you.
Uh,
We ask you all to subscribe to The Intentional Shift. Thank you, Lawana, for telling us how you feel, what your beliefs are, what your points are. I'm sure many people didn't know. Let us vote November 4th, Lawana
correct.
Gelzer for District 5. Let's get that Gelzer, District 5. And as she said, she feels like who? Abraham Lincoln, who did.
Absolutely. And he became our president. So, hey, let's make this happen. I'm the first name on the ballot. Do your research. Lawana Gelzer is an open book. She believes that you can call me 407-953-5599. Google me. I'm the only person in the United States and the world with this name. I'm very unique, but I'm willing to serve and do what's important for our district. Bring us together and make us whole and move forward in the 21st century.
All right. We certainly thank you, Lawana
Thank
Gelzer.
you.
Thank you. Vote November 4th. Thank you.
November 4th.